Sofia Ramirez had spent months quietly cleaning the sprawling Carter estate, barely noticed by the man who lived there. Nathan Carter, a young tech millionaire, had been sick for as long as she'd known him, pale, exhausted, coughing, endlessly trapped in his master suite, while doctors shrugged helplessly. But one evening, while inspecting a corner behind the massive walk-in closet, Sofia noticed a small, dark, damp patch hidden behind the wall. The smell hit her instantly, rotten, poisonous, unmistakable. Her heart raced as she realized what this meant. The very room Nathan spent most of his life in was slowly making him sick, maybe even killing him. She had a choice: ignore it and stay safe, or speak up and risk everything to save a man who didn't even know she existed. That moment would change both their lives forever. Sofia Ramirez had been working at the sprawling Carter estate in Greenwood Hills for only 3 months. Yet every day she still found herself in awe of the place. 15 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a library straight out of a movie, and gardens that seemed to stretch endlessly. Everything spoke of wealth, luxury, and a life she had only ever glimpsed from the outside. Pushing her cleaning cart down the polished marble hallway, she paused for a moment, taking a deep breath of the heavy perfumed air, and tried not to let her eyes wander. Nathan Carter, the 31-year-old tech mogul who owned the estate, had a reputation that intrigued Sofia almost as much as it intimidated her. He was always sick, or at least that's what everyone believed. From the first day she arrived, Nathan had spent the majority of his time secluded in the master suite, coughing violently, wincing in pain, and lying in bed with a weariness that seemed to drain the energy from the entire house. "Good morning, Mr. Carter," Sofia said softly, knocking gently on the master suite door one Thursday morning. A hoarse voice called back, "Come in, Sofia, but be quick. I feel terrible today." Sofia pushed the door open and found Nathan exactly as she expected, pale, sunken under the king-size bedding curtains, drawn in a stagnant heaviness in the air that seemed to cling to his skin. His cough echoed painfully through the room, making her wince involuntarily. "You've been like this since I started here," she said, passing a dustcloth over the bedside table. "You haven't improved at all." Nathan sighed, exhaustion written into every line of his face. "I've seen 4 doctors already. Tests for everything: lungs, heart, allergies, nothing. They say it might be stress or anxiety, but none of the medications do anything." Sofia frowned. She had grown up in a tough neighborhood of Los Angeles where money didn't buy health care or comfort, and her grandmother had always told her that the body never lies. Something about this room felt wrong. "Do you spend all day in here?" she asked carefully. "Mostly," Nathan admitted. "I work in the office in the mornings, but I always end up here. It's the only place I can rest." Sofia's eyes swept the room. It was enormous, luxurious, but dark and closed off. The window was always shut, the curtains heavy, and every time she entered, a strange, damp smell lingered. "Can I open the window?" she asked. Nathan nodded weakly. Sofia drew the curtains and let the morning sun pour in the warm light, pushing back the shadows. Fresh air filled the room. "There. Finished here, sir. You can rest." Nathan murmured a faint thanks, closing his eyes again. Sofia finished the cleaning quickly, but as she moved near the massive walk-in closet lining one wall, the smell grew stronger. She crouched and peered underneath. A small dark patch of moisture clung to the corner between the wall and the closet. Her stomach tightened. Something wasn't right. Over the next few days, Sofia noticed a pattern. When Nathan left the suite and spent time in the office or garden, his symptoms eased slightly. Color returned to his cheeks and his cough subsided. But the moment he returned to the master suite, the sickness came back with full force. The realization gnawed at her: the room itself might be making him ill. One Tuesday, she found Nathan sitting alert in his office, looking more alive than she had ever seen. "How are you feeling today, sir?" she asked cautiously. "I spent the morning out here," he said, smiling faintly for the first time since she had started working there. "No crisis, no headaches. Just like the doctor said, it must be stress. Work keeps my mind off it." Sofia didn't reply. She had a theory, but she needed proof. That evening before leaving, she returned to the master suite to check the room. Nathan lay sleeping, facing the wall where the dark patch had appeared. Sofia crept closer, crouching to inspect it. The spot was damp, almost hidden, and the smell hit her, immediately: stale, rotting, unmistakable. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her mind. Moisture grows where it's unseen, and it kills quietly. Sophia hesitated. Should she speak up or ignore it? She had only a few months of experience, and Nathan was the powerful, distant employer. What if he didn't believe her? Worse, what if he thought she was exaggerating to draw attention to herself? She carried the question home that night to her younger sister, Lila Ramirez, who was preparing quesadillas in their modest downtown apartment. "You look worried." "Did something happen at work?" Lila asked, noticing Sophia's tense expression. Sophia told her everything: Nathan's constant illness, the strange smell in the suite, and the mold she had spotted. Lila's face went pale. "Sophia, that mold could kill him. If he's breathing it every day, that's why he's sick. You have to tell him. You could save his life." Sophia's hands shook. "But what if he doesn't believe me? I'm just the cleaning lady." "You're the only one who notices, the only one who sees it," Lila insisted. "This is bigger than fear. You can't stay silent." The next morning, Sophia arrived at the Carter estate earlier than usual. Nathan was in his office, coughing occasionally, but otherwise alert. She squared her shoulders and spoke with conviction. "Mr. Carter, may I have a word? It's important." Nathan looked up, surprised. "Of course. Sit," Sophia explained calmly, detailing the location of the mold and the damp patch behind the walk-in closet. She described the symptoms, the recurrence of his illness when confined to the room, and drew upon her personal experience with dangerous moisture growing unseen in homes. Nathan paused, skeptical, yet a flicker of doubt crossed his eyes. "Why would it only affect me in the master suite?" he asked. "Because it's confined to that space. You feel fine elsewhere, the office, the garden, but return here and it worsens." "I've seen it before," Sophia said, voice steady. Nathan stood and followed her upstairs. Sophia pointed to the corner behind the closet. The small dark patch was nearly invisible unless looked at closely. Nathan leaned forward, sniffed cautiously, and immediately recoiled. The smell was unmistakable, pungent and putrid. "My God, how did I never notice this?" he murmured. Sophia met his gaze, calm but resolute. "The room has been making you sick, sir. Opening the windows and proper treatment is the only way to fix it." For the first time, gratitude softened Nathan's face. "You saved my life, Sophia. I can't believe I didn't see it myself." The next morning, Nathan Carter woke to a clarity he hadn't felt in months. The first night spent away from the master suite had been quiet, the air clean, the oppressive weight of illness finally lifted just enough for him to notice the difference. Sophia had insisted he sleep in a guest room while the mold experts prepared the treatment. Nathan's head still throbbed slightly, but it was a sharp contrast to the crushing fatigue that had plagued him for years. Sophia arrived early, armed with her cleaning supplies and a steady sense of purpose. She found Nathan in the home office, sitting upright at his desk, his usual pallor replaced with a hint of color. "Good morning, sir," she said cautiously. Nathan looked up and smiled, and it wasn't the forced, fleeting expression he had shown her before. It was real, bright, almost radiant. "Good morning, Sophia." "I feel better," he admitted, his voice tinged with disbelief. "No headaches, no constant coughing. I didn't realize how bad it had been until now." Sophia allowed herself a small, relieved smile. She had suspected the mold, but seeing the tangible improvement in Nathan confirmed what she had long feared. It wasn't stress, not entirely. It was the hidden poison thriving in the very room he had relied on for rest. Over the next few days, Nathan stayed mostly in the garden or the office, carefully avoiding the master suite. The contractors worked efficiently, tearing down part of the wall behind the walk-in closet and removing months' worth of mold accumulation. Sophia supervised, quietly making notes, ensuring Nathan was shielded from the worst of the exposure. The air felt lighter in the estate, and Nathan's energy visibly returned. By the end of the week, Nathan was walking through the gardens each morning, opening windows that had long been sealed shut, and laughing over phone calls with colleagues. His staff noticed the change, exchanging glances at the remarkable transformation. But it was Sophia's quiet, unwavering presence that made the biggest difference. She hadn't expected recognition. Her only goal had been to do her job well. But Nathan, now feeling alive again, was compelled to express his gratitude. "Sophia," Nathan said one morning as she watered the balcony plants, "I know I'm your employer, but I need you to understand. You've done more for me than any doctor, any expensive medication, anyone I've paid to help me. You saved my life." Sophia froze her hands, gripping the hose tighter. She had never imagined anyone would say that to her. Her job had always been invisible, her role confined to cleaning and observing, but now in that moment, Nathan's words lifted the weight from her chest. "You don't need to thank me, sir. I saw what was wrong," she replied softly. Nathan shook his head, smiling faintly, but with seriousness in his eyes. "No, you don't understand. I want to do more than thank you. I want to invest in you. I want to support you, your future, your growth. You've got an eye for things most people overlook, and that's rare." Sophia's eyes brimmed with tears, but she blinked them back. She wasn't used to recognition, let alone such generosity. Nathan handed her a voucher for a management training program at a private school fully funded. "Consider this an opportunity to build something for yourself," he said. "I want you to have every chance to succeed." The gesture shook Sophia. It was more than she had ever dared to hope for, and it made her question the nature of her feelings. She had spent weeks noticing Nathan's vulnerability, his struggle, and the way he trusted her. Each day, their relationship evolved from formal politeness to mutual respect, and now perhaps something more. As Sophia progressed through the management course, she arrived home exhausted each evening, but with a light in her eyes that her sister Lila hadn't seen in years. "You're different," Lila remarked one night over dinner. "Happier, lighter." Sophia smiled faintly, too tired to explain. "It's the course," she said vaguely, though she knew it was more than that. It was the way Nathan had made her feel seen, important, and capable. Nathan, for his part, began seeking her advice, involving her in minor decisions, and even sharing personal thoughts he had never voiced to anyone in the household. Their conversations became longer, more meaningful, and sometimes Sophia caught him looking at her in ways that made her heart pound. She knew she was walking a line, she was his employee, but the connection they were forming was undeniable. One Thursday afternoon, Nathan appeared nervously in the library while Sophia organized books. "Sophia, do you have a minute?" he asked, shifting uncomfortably. "Of course," she replied, setting aside her work. I want to invite you to dinner tomorrow night," he said carefully. "Not as employer and employee, just friends or, I don't know, people." Sophia's heart leapt. She knew she should refuse. The implications were complicated. Yet before she could rationalize, she heard herself say, "I'd like that." Nathan's face broke into a genuine relieved smile. "Perfect. I'll pick you up at 7. The following evening, Sophia dressed in her only nice dress, simple yet elegant dark blue, and Lila helped her finish preparing. "You look beautiful," Lila said, smiling. "He won't be able to take his eyes off you." Sophia blushed, uncertain how to feel caught between fear and anticipation. Nathan arrived punctually, driving them to a small, cozy restaurant in Coyoacán, far from the polished streets of Greenwood Hills. The intimate atmosphere, flickering candlelight, and soft music made Sophia relax slightly. They talked for hours about Nathan's childhood pressures, the isolation his illness had caused, and the strange relief it had offered him. He opened up about wanting to live more fully, to connect with people, and perhaps to connect with her. By the end of the evening, Sophia realized something had shifted. The distance between employer and employee had begun to dissolve. A quiet respect, a spark of curiosity, and the faint beginning of trust had emerged, forming the fragile threads of something neither of them could yet name. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. If you were Sophia, would you accept Nathan's invitation to dinner, knowing he is your employer? Do you think their growing closeness is appropriate, or could it become complicated? Would you risk your feelings for someone in a position of power if it might change your life? Weeks passed at the Carter estate, but Nathan Carter still couldn't shake the gratitude he felt toward Sophia Ramirez. She hadn't just discovered the source of his illness, she had saved his life. Now, watching her move through the house, a quiet confidence settling in her step, Nathan realized how much their relationship had changed. What had started as employer and employee had evolved into something far deeper: respect, trust, and a fragile but growing connection. Sophia herself felt the shift. She arrived each morning still performing her duties, but with a lightness she hadn't felt in years. She laughed more, noticed details, and carried herself with a subtle pride. The management program she had joined at Nathan's encouragement had given her new skills, but it was the recognition and trust he placed in her that gave her a sense of purpose she had never experienced before. One bright Saturday morning, Nathan suggested they go to the local farmers market downtown. Sophia hesitated. Her life had been so structured around work, and the idea of spending leisure time with her employer made her nervous. But she agreed. The market was alive with colors, scents, and the chatter of vendors and neighbors. Children ran along the pathway, street musicians played lively tunes, and the air was filled with the smell of fresh bread and roasted coffee. Nathan was noticeably relaxed, almost like a different man. "This is amazing," Nathan said, picking up a hand-painted clay keychain. "I can't believe I've lived in Los Angeles my whole life and never explored this part of the city." Sophia smiled. "Most people live in their own little bubbles. They don't see beyond their routines. It's easy to forget the world exists outside the walls we're used to." Nathan nodded, looking around at the vibrant chaos. "But now we're here together, and it feels real." Over the next few weeks, Nathan began involving Sophia more in the daily decisions of the estate, not just cleaning or minor tasks, but discussions about staff scheduling, inventory, and household management. He sought her advice in ways he had never done before, asking her opinion on things that mattered to him, making her feel like a trusted partner rather than just an employee. Sophia was cautious. She knew the difference in their social standing, the power dynamic. Yet she couldn't ignore the warmth she felt when Nathan smiled at her, or the way he genuinely listened to her thoughts. It was a delicate balance, a line she had to walk carefully. One evening, Nathan nervously approached Sophia while she was tending the balcony plants. "Sophia," he said, voice low, "would you like to have dinner with me tomorrow? Just us. No business talk, no work, just friends? Or maybe something else." Sophia's heart raced. Part of her knew she should refuse, that the professional boundary was important. But another part, the part that had come to admire and trust him, couldn't say no. "I'd like that," she admitted softly. The following night, Nathan arrived at her apartment building promptly at 7. He drove them to a small, quiet restaurant, a place tucked away from the hustle of Greenwood Hills with wooden tables, soft candlelight, and live acoustic music. Over dinner, they talked about their lives, his pressures as a young tech entrepreneur, her childhood struggles, and the responsibility of caring for her sister Lila after their parents passed. They laughed, shared stories, and slowly the barriers between employer and employee faded into something gentler and more human. After weeks of subtle gestures and careful conversations, Nathan invited Sophia to meet his parents. He wanted her to be acknowledged for her courage and the difference she had made in his life. Sophia hesitated, the nerves building in her chest, but she agreed. At the dinner, Nathan's parents were formal and reserved, but as Nathan explained how Sophia had saved their son, their expressions softened. Respect replaced suspicion, and Sophia felt a warmth she had never expected. Later that evening after the dinner, Nathan found Sophia sitting in the estate garden gazing at the stars. "I'm sorry if that was overwhelming," he said, sitting beside her. "You don't have to apologize," she replied softly. "Your parents are right to be cautious. I get it. The world can be judgmental." Nathan shook his head. "No. You've changed my life. You've made me see the world differently. I'm not going to live my life trying to please people who don't matter. I choose you, Sophia." "That's it?" Sophia's eyes filled with tears. The fear and hesitation that had kept her cautious melted away in that moment. "I choose you too," she whispered, smiling through the emotion. In the months that followed, Sophia became more than just an employee. She became Nathan's trusted partner in managing the estate and overseeing projects, all while completing her management course. Lila, who had always been a close support, graduated as a nurse and began working at a nearby hospital, proud and independent. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. There were still whispers from staff, the occasional judgmental glance, and moments when Sophia questioned if she truly belonged in Nathan's world. But together, Nathan and Sophia built something solid: respect, gratitude, and eventually a quiet, profound love that didn't need grand gestures to be felt. One morning, as they shared coffee on the balcony, Nathan reached for Sophia's hand. "Do you remember the first day you discovered the mold?" he asked, smiling. "If you hadn't spoken up, I don't know what would have happened. You didn't just save me physically, you saved me completely." Sophia squeezed his hand. "I didn't do it for praise. I did what was right. And I'm glad it mattered to you." Nathan looked out over the estate, the sun catching the gardens in golden light. "It mattered more than you know. And I'll spend the rest of my life showing you that." In that quiet morning, surrounded by the soft hum of the city and the gentle rustle of leaves, Sophia and Nathan understood something profound. Helping someone is never just about the immediate act. It's about recognizing a need, having the courage to act, and opening a path to something better for them and for yourself. They sat in silence, hearts full, knowing that from this moment forward, life could take them to places they had never imagined, together equal parts respect, gratitude, and love. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the interruption, but we hope you will help us improve our content in the future. Do you think Sophia and Nathan's relationship could thrive despite their differences in background? Would you have had the courage to speak up if you were in Sophia's position? If this story inspired you, comment 100 below. Tell us which country you're watching from and share this video with someone who needs to hear it.